Once upon a time, there were 3 little engines who lived in their own little shed on their own little railway. Their names were Duke, Stuart, and Falcon. Duke was the oldest and was named after His Grace, the Duke of Sodor. He was proud of this and loved to keep the little engines in order. Whenever they did anything that Duke thought wrong, he would say, "That would never suit His Grace." Other engines came and went, but Duke outlasted them all. Stuart and Falcon used to call him Grandpuff. They were fond of him, but they got very tired of hearing all about His Grace. Sometimes they would tease him and chant, "Engines come and engines go. Grandpuff goes on forever." "You impertinent scallywags," Duke would say. "Whatever are you engines coming to?" "Never mind, Grandpuff. We're only young once." "Well, you'd better mind, unless you want to end up like Smudger." "Oh, Grandpuff, whatever happened?" "Smudger," said Duke, "was a show-off. He rode roughly and often came off the rails. I warned him to be careful, but he took no notice." "Listen, Dookie," he snarled. "Who worries about a few spills?" "We do here," I said, but Smudger just laughed. Until one day, manager said he was going to make him useful at last. Smudger stopped laughing then. "Well, why? What did he do?" "He turned him into a generator. He's still out there behind our shed. He'll never move again." After that, Stuart and Falcon became really useful engines, and all 3 were happy together for many years. It happened long ago, when Peter Sam was called Stuart and Sir Handel Falcon. Many people came year after year to see the mountains and the lakes, and most of all, Duke. He always pulled his train, even on days when he didn't feel well. "I mustn't disappoint my friends," he would say. Every morning, he took his passengers up the line and stopped anywhere they wanted. "Beep, beep," he whistled. "Please be ready when I come back for you. Otherwise, we might miss your boat to the mainland, and that would never do." One day, Duke didn't feel well. He was short of steam and needed to rest. His driver and fireman had just finished clearing his tubes when Stuart bustled in. "Hello, Grandpuff," he teased. "Are you short of puff?" "Nothing of the sort. This is routine maintenance." "Tell you what," went on Stuart, "you're getting old. We must take care of you in case you break down." "Whoosh, Duke. That'll be the day." Duke couldn't stay cross for long. It was a lovely evening. "Couldn't be better, couldn't be better," he chuntered happily. They began to climb, but Duke didn't mind. "I've plenty of steam," he puffed. "We'll be up in a couple of puffs." But soon, Duke's puffs changed to wheezes. His valves were leaking steam. "It's not so easy, it's not so easy," he croaked. "But I'll manage." At last, they reached the station. Duke's driver examined him carefully. Anxious passengers waited for news. "Duke is going to take you to the harbor, but he might be late," said the conductor, "so 2 engines are coming to help. You'll still catch your boat. Falcon buffered up in front. Poor old Grandpa, what a shame you've broken down. Beep, 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 teased Stuart. This is the day. He was coupled on behind. Are you ready? Whistled Falcon. Yes, I am, replied Stuart, and away they went. When they reached the next station, the cavalcade split up. Falcon took Duke's passengers to the boat. Stuart headed Falcon's train, with Duke coupled behind. Fancy me rescuing Grandpuff. This is the day, this is the day, he boasted. Poor old engine, poor old engine. But Duke still had plenty of steam left in him. His valves sounded worse than they were. He and his driver had their own little joke ready. They waited until they reached the hill. Now, said his driver. Duke puffed and roared as though he was pushing the whole train's weight before him. The noise echoed everywhere. When they reached the last station, everyone cheered. What happened? Asked the boy. They don't usually need 2 engines. Well, replied his father, Stuart broke down. Duke had to help him. It sounds as if he had a hard job, too. Duke and his driver's joke had worked. Fiddlesticks! Exclaimed Stuart, and he vanished in a cloud of steam. Duke wheezed alongside. Poor old engine, he teased. It's no good, Stuart. You can't win. Then hard times came. The mines in the hills closed. And the railway was closed, too. People came to buy the engines. We'll take Stuart and Falcon. No one wanted Duke. They thought him too old. Cheer up, Grandpuff, called Stuart. We'll find you a nice railway, and then you can come and keep us in order. They tried to be brave and cheerful, but no one really thought their dreams would come true. Duke's driver and fireman oiled and greased him one last time. They sheeted him snugly and said goodbye. Then they had to go away and find work. Duke was alone. Oh, well, he sighed, I'll go to sleep. It'll help to pass the time. Winter torrents washed soils from the hills. Trees and bushes grew all around. You wouldn't have known a shed was there, let alone a little engine asleep inside. Years went by until one day not long ago, visitors came to see Sir Topham Hatt. We want to find Duke, they said, and make him happy again. Maps lay everywhere. If we follow the old line shown here on the map, they said, we'll travel north of the village and then into the mountains. And look, there's a sign for the old station. If Duke's anywhere, he's there. Everyone set off to the mountains far away. The days went by and the search grew harder, but the rescuers wouldn't give up. Let's go this way, they said. But there was still no sign of Duke. He's here somewhere, they said. They scrambled over hills, struggled over ditches. At last their search ended, quite by accident. We've found him! We've found our sleeping beauty! Excuse me, inquired Duke.
Are you a vandal? Driver told me vandals break and smash things.
Bless you, no, laughed the rescuers. We've dropped in because we couldn't find your door. Falcon and Stuart will be pleased to see you.
So they did remember,
sighed Duke happily. Then they all set off for Duke's new home. Stuart and Falcon were ready with a big welcome.
He's here,
they whispered.
Shh, shh. You woke me up, grumbled Duke. In my young days, engines were...
Seen and not heard, Grandpuff. We know. We'll all be back to work tomorrow. We're glad you've come back. We can keep you in order now.
Keep me in order? Be off with you, impudent scallywags.
But Duke's old eyes twinkled, and for the first time in years, he smiled as he dozed in the sun.